Friday, it's Friday on the CBSN Minnesota Morning Update. I'm Jason DeRusha. How you feeling? How you doing? Are you ready for the weekend? So much going on. Fishing opener, Art of Whirl in Northeast Minneapolis, and the end of the mask mandate today from the state level. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. How about we talk about the weather? Because my sprinkler system at home, yeah, I know, you're so fancy, you got sprinklers. Yeah, I got sprinklers. Deal with it. It's not on, though. They couldn't get me in until June, so they haven't blown out the thing or whatever they need to do. So I need this rain. I'm excited about it, and it's going to set us up for a great weekend, too. I know if you're going fishing tomorrow morning, you don't love rain, but you know what? You've been out in the snow, so it'll be all right. And those showers start showing up around noon here in the Metro Twin Cities. We've got, it's not going to be like an absolute downpour, but it will at times, Riley says. So kind of cooler temperatures as the rain comes in. But this weekend, we get into the 70s, and then Monday, 80 on the board. So pretty fun. Okay, let's talk about the end of the mask mandate in Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz will sign an executive order today. This is the statewide mandate, right? So first, yesterday afternoon, the CDC says, hey, if you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask. You don't need to socially distance. The vaccine works. That's what they said. And so after that announcement came out from the CDC, the state and Governor Walz came out and said, you know what? We're going to get rid of the statewide mask mandate. We're not going to go through the logistics of having stores or whatever say, hey, are you vaccinated? Are you not? We're going to get rid of it. And people who are not vaccinated can choose to wear a mask. Anyone can choose to do it. Some businesses, you see Target here, they're keeping their mask mandate in place. But let's ask you this question. Assuming you're going to follow the rules, right? And don't be a jerk. No one working at a store or a restaurant cares to hear your rant about the governor lifted this or this. Just zip it. If they say to wear it, wear it. It's not the fault of whoever's working there. But if you're allowed, are you going to go for it? Tell us what you're thinking. Will you stop wearing a mask indoors? Leave your comments on Facebook or on Twitter, and I'll check them out, and we will read through some of your comments in just a minute. I'm curious where people are at. I know I've been counseling some of my more cautious or nervous friends, sharing texts about this since it happened yesterday. Another late-night development, Minnesota House passed the marijuana legalization bill. We knew they were going to do that. We knew there was going to be opposition. This is some of what Republicans were saying.
It's crystal clear that Governor Walz and Democrats in the Minnesota House don't care about unemployed Minnesotans. They care about legalizing marijuana.
Not a fake bill. It is not a pot bill. It is not any of the reefer madness bill language that we've been hearing. This is a bill about making a rational choice about how to address a substance that has some harms but can be responsibly used by people making adult decisions.
You got Kurt Dowd first, Ryan Winkler, DFL second. This is as far as any marijuana legislation has ever made it in Minnesota, but it's dead now. Democrats have said, look, the public polling is bipartisan. Minnesotans are ready for this. And they say also this is a racial justice and equity issue because a much higher percentage of black Minnesotans are locked up on marijuana charges than white, and we know plenty of white people are illegally using marijuana. So they're saying this would provide some equity here. The Senate, controlled by Republicans, said forget it. It's not happening. It's dead on arrival. Paul Gazelka says he's not even going to call it for a vote, probably because if he called it for a vote, it might pass. Even though Republicans control it, there were Republicans who voted for this in the House, and there were also Democrats who voted against it. So this is not a hugely partisan issue when it comes down to it, but from the leadership standpoint, there has been a clear line that Republicans have made. The sentencing of a former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd, Derek Shovin, will be shown on TV. So the judge right here on Channel 4 will have it on CBSN, the whole deal. The judge is allowing cameras in the courtroom When Derek Chauvin learns his fate last month, earlier this week, we told you that the judge found aggravating factors. So when they looked at all the evidence, they said, you know, there are some things under the law that make this worse when it comes for sentencing. Being a police officer abusing your authority. They said he treated George Floyd with particular cruelty. There were children there. So some of these things could put him in prison far longer. The sentencing guideline, 12.5 years. Conventional wisdom was that he would get sentenced for, you know, maybe 20 to 25. But now that they found 4 aggravating factors, a lot of attorneys I've been talking to have said maybe we'll see 30 years. 40 is the max. Would be very, very unusual for someone to be sentenced to that. The 3 other former officers charged in Floyd's death, their trial has been pushed back to next March. We talked about this yesterday, and Judge Peter Cahill made it official. Tu Tao, Thomas Lane, J. Alexander King were supposed to go on trial, state charges, end of this summer. So this was the aiding and abetting charge and potentially a third-degree murder charge. There was an effort to try to get that added. But the judge said, look, we got to let the feds go first. The federal case against the officers has much harsher penalties. The attorneys for the 3 former officers wanted it to go feds first. And so that's the deal. They could spend the rest of their lives in prison if they're convicted on those federal civil rights charges. Man accused of taking hostages at a bank in St. Cloud, remember that? He faces federal charges. Now 35-year-old Ray McNeary, no big surprise. The feds and the U.S. attorney charged him with bank robbery. That is a federal charge, federal crime, because it's dealing with U.S. currency. And it carries a maximum penalty of 25 years in prison. Court documents give us a little more insight as to what was going on. McNeary went into this bank about a week ago. Prosecutors say he asked for $60,000 in cash. He got mad when the bank said, hey, you don't have an account here. We can't find an account in your name. So the manager activated silent alarm. Investigators say McNeary held his hostages with a scissors. Held 5 employees hostage. That sort of gives us a little insight as to why some people made a run for it, right? The guy's got a pair of scissors. That's it. All of the hostages did get out safely. Some ran for it, some were released. 8-hour standoff. Clashes between Israel and Palestinian militants show no signs of letting up. Israel continuing to bombard the Gaza Strip with airstrikes and artillery shelling overnight. Hamas launching round after round of rockets towards Israel, so that happening as well. So lots of violence in the Middle East. We'll continue watching this to see as it develops over the weekend, but there are certainly fears that this could develop into a full-blown war. In Washington, Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar spoke out against the violence.
Violence does nothing to make people more secure. It only furthers the interest of the powerful while costing lives, futures, and families.
The attack started weeks ago over COVID restrictions during Ramadan. President Joe Biden said peace talks are a work in progress. I mean, that is an understatement. Peace talks have been a work in progress in that region for thousands of years. The deadline to file your taxes is almost here. Monday is tax day, May 17th. It's a month later than normal. COVID led to an extension here. So if you still have yet to file, you're probably not going to get your refund anytime soon. The IRS says they have an unusually large backlog of returns to still process. You know, they're working remotely and all of the COVID restrictions as well for those folks. So it's taking a little longer for mailed documents to reach their destination. So a lot going on when it comes to taxes. But you know what they will get in time? My payment, right? Like they don't care about me sending my check to them. But just so you know, it's going to take you a little, big shocker there. People have speculated for decades, if not centuries, about the possibility of life on other planets. This, in fact, was a giant research project I did in 6th grade. Do you think there's intelligent life on other planets? So in 2021, how many people believe it? Look at the change here. Currently, 66% of Americans say, yep, intelligent life on other planets. 2/3 of America thinks Alf is walking around out there, or Mork from Ork. Look at the growth, though. How did we go from 47% in 2010 to 66% now? Of those who believe in extraterrestrial life, about 1/3 say they think we've already been contacted by them. Yeah. About 60% think it'll happen within the next century or further in the future. Just a small fraction of those who believe there are intelligent life forms think they'll never contact us. What do you think they're waiting for? How about UFOs? half of people think they're most definitely aliens. Wow, they say they might be aliens. And how about this? When it comes to UFOs, I mean, I agree with this. The government knows more than it's telling. You know they know what's going on. They know. I mean, maybe there are no UFOs. Minnesota Lynx season opener is tonight at Target Center. They'll take on the Phoenix Mercury. You can see that game on the CBS Sports Network at 8. Let's go Lynx. 3 new big acquisitions for the Lynx. They should be stacked and ready to go. And the Minnesota Wild, they have been a shining light in the sports world. And here we go. Can we win a playoff series? Can any Minnesota team win a playoff series? The Lynx succeeded a couple of years ago, and then the rest of us, it's been just stink city. Wild Golden Knights, Game 1, Sunday at 2 p.m. How about some puppies? It's Friday. You deserve it. You've been working hard. Here are your puppies. Look at a puppy. Safe Hands Rescue in Minneapolis. My gosh, I am going to show this video to my 15-year-old who has a sudden interest in getting a cat or a puppy. He can't decide. He kind of wants a cat, but I'm more of a dog guy, and I would take any one of these little doggos. Aren't they cute? They got to hang out at Sea Life at Mall of America, and the dogs were not exactly. There was one dog that was borderline interested in some of the fish. But, you know, there are sharks swimming around in there, so I don't know about that. This pet rescue, the dog rescue, is having a gala, virtual gala. It's called, what is it called again? Roll it back a little bit there, Ron. Yes, Safe Hands Rescue. That's right. Safe Hands Rescue. So go to their website, throw a couple of bucks. Oh, look at that shark. Oh, man. All right, that was fun. Good video. Let's talk about the mask mandate ending. I want to know kind of where you're at on this, how you feel about it. Annette, not sure. Yeah, I get it, Annette. Not sure how I feel about it. People who aren't vaccinated are not going to wear their masks anyway, and Annette is immune compromised. Yeah, if it makes you feel good, do it, Annette. Connie says, cool with it. I'm going to wear it when required, but happy to go without. That's where I'm at, Connie. I'm a rule follower. Tamara, I'm fully vaccinated, but I'll keep wearing my mask. It's always been about protecting one another. You never know who has vulnerable people. The kids are still not vaccinated. I think that's the trickiest spot, right? If you have kids who are under 12, not old enough to get vaccinated. We know that those kids almost never really even show any symptoms. But you got to do what you got to do to feel good. Jackie says, I feel if businesses still want a mandate, it's absolutely their right. I'm glad to not have to wear them anymore. Seeing actual faces makes me feel more connected to people. Yeah, I've been smiling at you guys for the last 16 months. And maybe, can you see it in my eyes? Pam says, I think it's okay now to go in some areas without a mask. I'll still wear a mask where I don't feel comfortable. I think that's really smart. You guys are on it. Very smart, very good reaction from you this morning. I appreciate it. Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. We're seeing the end of this. And you think, why are we seeing the end of it? It's because people are getting vaccinated and the vaccine works. So you can give this is what the CDC is telling us, so you can have a little comfort to take those masks off, enjoy some fresh air, go fishing, go to Art of World this weekend, and enjoy the Lynx tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us in the Morning Update, CBSN Minnesota. We are going to, Ron, do you want to do this Monday? We're going to do it Monday. We'll be back. Have a good weekend.